Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to film this video today. I just got a white box on my doorstep. This is not just any white box. This is specifically a box from Sydney Grace. If you guys have been following me for a while, you will know my very deep and abiding love for the brand Sydney Grace Cosmetics. I love their eyeshadows and eyeshadow palettes, and I have in here a couple of new eyeshadow palettes from them, which some of you may have seen on Instagram and YouTube recently. I haven't even opened the box yet. We're going to open it together, try it out, do some swatches. I also got a couple more individual eyeshadows because I just can't help myself. I'm getting awfully close to having collected them all, like Pokemon cards. So I hope that you guys are as excited as I am, or maybe partially as excited as I am to play with these today. Before we jump into the video, I want to give a special welcome to any new visitors to my channel. Very happy to have you here. I hope that you enjoy this one. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you're subscribed and make sure that notification bell is turned on if you'd like to be notified every time I upload a new video. Oh, that's a mouthful. And now let's get to it. Alright guys, I've got a couple of individuals in these two boxes, which I know looks like a lot. I think I ended up getting like 14 individual shadows, which I can't believe there were still 14 that I didn't own yet. We'll get to those and swatch them in a minute. But what I am most eager about are their new eyeshadow palettes in collaboration with Temptalia. So I got two of them. There were three, and within each version there was a light and a dark version, which I love that Sydney Grace does that. I think that's such a cool idea. So I ended up going with the On the Horizon palette in the light version. Let's just have a quick look at it right here. Oh, look at all those jewel tones. Oh my goodness. And then this one right here is the Quintessence palette, also in the light version. Okay, they do look kind of similar. So I'm gonna hold them up next to each other because they definitely look like there are some similarities, but I have heard a lot of people mention that they seem similar, but when you swatch them, they're actually not as similar as they possibly look. So we're going to go through both of these really quickly and then we'll decide which one to use on the eyes for today. I think this is such a fun collaboration. Back in the early days of YouTube, when there was very little content on YouTube, I'm talking like 2007, 2008, this was around the same time that I discovered makeup is kind of a hobby. I remember discovering the website Temptalia and looking at a lot of reviews, especially of MAC makeup on there. So I thought this was a really fun collaboration. So let's go through these palettes individually and then we will quickly go through the single eyeshadows that I picked up and then we'll do an eyeshadow look with one of these palettes. So I want to start with this one right here. Here's the On the Horizon palette in the light version. I love the color story of these. I love, oh, look at these shimmers, you guys. This one looks like a very light toned kind of, oh, it's so pretty. It's like a purpley bronze champagne. I guess you could call that a taupe. That's a simpler name for it. The shade right here looks really pretty. Ooh, really nice purple. Big fan of Sydney Grace's shimmery purples. They're some of my favorite shades that she does, and I own a lot of them. Probably all of them, actually. And then this shade right here is, oh, that is lovely. I love the Sydney Grace shimmer formula. One of, if not my very favorite shimmer formula out there. Just look how reflective and metallic it is. Her formula is just right because it's super reflective and metallic without being very textury. So it doesn't emphasize too much texture, but it still gives maximum impact, maximum metallic richness, which I absolutely love. You know, I've got to swatch all the shimmers because they're just what I am drawn to. So here we have the kind of green. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, that looks so pretty with the shirt I'm wearing today. Then we have the copper color, and then right here we have kind of the pinky purple. That is so pretty. So pretty. Those shimmers are glorious. Let's just do these last two shimmers really quickly. So we have the kind of deep teal color right here. Oh, that's beautiful. And then the deep kind of blue toned purple, kind of purple, that's like a navy. Ooh, that is beautiful. If you're into jewel tones, I think you're gonna love these palettes. They are quite jewel toned though. That's something I'm noticing. I'm not opposed to that, but you definitely get a lot more medium deep to deep tones in these, it appears, than like mid tones. But fortunately, at least with these two right here, they do both give you some really pretty bright lid options and also at least one or two transition shades. Do you want to swatch just a couple of these matte shadows? Let's go ahead and swatch this one, this light pink, and the green right here. All right, so here is the deep kind of grayish purple. That's so pretty. Love that. And then here is the light kind of pinky purple. Very nice. And then this one right here is the mid-tone matte green. Those are lovely. I know those swatches look really messy, but those feel really, really nice. And let me just swatch this navy blue really quick. Oh, So nice. I love the Sydney Grace formula. It is so, so nice. Let's move over to the other palette, which is the Quintessence palette. So here it is right here. There definitely are some really unique shades in here. I feel like this one looks a little bit deeper. It doesn't have quite as many kind of mid-tones or neutrals, at least on first glance, as the other one, but there's some really interesting shades in here. So let's have a look at this one. I do want to swatch a couple of these. So let's start off by swatching the silver down here. Ooh, that feels nice. This one right here, it's called the Milky Way. It's kind of a multi-chrome. Looks very interesting. It's kind of a silver with a gold and green and purple sparkle. Very, very interesting. So here is the first one, the silver. This is the shade Serious Starlight, and then here is the duo or multi-chrome down here. Oh my goodness, this reminds me a little bit of The Greatest Gift, but maybe a little bit deeper. The Greatest Gift is pretty subtle and kind of sheer. It's a little bit lighter. This one is just a little bit more colorful. Now I want to swatch this teal, this kind of Kelly green that seems like it has a little bit of gold in it, and then this blue right here. Oh, look at those, you guys. Oh my goodness. Here's the teal. Hang on, I'm gonna take my watch off. Here's the Kelly green. Actually, that's not a Kelly green. It's more of just like a grass green with a little bit of gold in it. Super pretty. Those two are actually more similar swatched than they seem to be in the pan, but they're both really pretty. And this one right here is a blue kind of duochrome purple. Beautiful. Let's have a look at this purple blue down here. I can't tell, honestly. Do you call this purple? Do you call it blue? I kind of think it's more purple. Probably depends on what my white balance is like. This is one of those shades that could kind of go either direction. Ooh, look how vibrant that is. That's one of those shades that I love swatching, and I can't bring myself to quite wear a shade like that very often, but it's so pretty to look at. Let's just swatch these last two shimmers really quickly. First we have the berry tone. This one seems a little bit more of a satin finish. Ooh, that's lovely. And then right here we have the jewel tone, kind of deep muted purple. That's a really interesting color. It's kind of has a little bit of gray in it. So it looks like both of these palettes have 8 shimmers and 4 mattes. So let's go ahead and just swatch these mattes really quick. This one gives you a matte black, which I don't think I own a matte black from Sydney Grace yet. Is that a true black? Then we have these two grays right here. So I'm gonna swatch them on the underside of my arm. So here we have the matte black. Oh, that's so intense. And then we have the deeper gray, and then the lighter gray. That lighter gray is so stunning. And then last I want to swatch the kind of green, blackened green here. Oh, look at that shade, guys. Ooh, that is so pretty. This reminds me of the shade, I think it's called Thrilled, which is one of my favorite shades for the outer corner, especially when I'm working with silvers or kind of light mint greens. I love shades like this. Super, super beautiful. So now I want to insert for you guys the swatches of both of these palettes on my arm compared to each other. So I will insert those for you guys right here so you can see how they look all swatched together and also how the palettes compare to each other. Now at first glance, these do look similar in the types of colors that you're getting, but the colors themselves are all very, very different. I don't see anything in here across these two palettes that is a dupe for something else. Both of these look super beautiful. It's going to take me a couple of times using each of them to determine which one I would most recommend to you, but hopefully just seeing the swatches will maybe help you guys make that determination. I will try and keep you guys updated as soon as I give them both a thorough try. So now to determine which one I want to use today. This is so difficult. Let's go with the On the Horizon palette today. I'm kind of torn what to do. I'm really loving these blues and greens right here, but I also think this light bronze right here would be really pretty, especially considering really the only transition shade that I'm seeing in here is this kind of pink tone shade, which I think would look really beautiful with this bronze and maybe this silvery warm taupe on the inner corner. So why don't we start off with that and we'll kind of just see where it takes us. So I'm going to take this shade, which is the shade October Odyssey. The shade names in here, by the way, are all very, very long. Clearly they're cosmic inspired, but there's some long names in here, like Magellan or Lunar Illumination. A lot of letters. I feel like this would be a fun palette to do a spelling bee with. Can you spell Phoenix Awakens? So once we get done with this eye look, I am going to swatch for you guys the individual shadows that I picked up, and I did want to mention Sydney Grace does do their, actually no, they do 2 sales a year, so this is their semi-annual sale. It's coming up in July, so I wanted to really talk about these palettes and swatch the rest of the individual shadows for you guys. I will also link for you guys down below the last single shadow swatching video I did of my Sydney Grace shadows, which was I think last summer after their last sale. I have a lot of them now, and I will try and keep you guys updated. I'm pretty sure in that video I kind of starred my very favorites, so if you're wondering what my favorite individuals from them are, which ones I would recommend or where to start. Alright, so far so good. Those went on like a dream, like always. I do want to go in with this deep shade right here. This is the shade Infinite Echoes. It's kind of a purple concrete color. And I'm going to add a little bit of this to this outer corner right here. Their deep mattes are just so easy to work with. Sometimes deep, really rich mattes can be a little bit trickier to blend, but I haven't found that to be true with any of the Sydney Grace shadows that I've tried. They're all just so easy to work with. So this is tricky. There's a part of me that thinks that these two would be a really pretty combination on the outer and inner half of my lid, but then I also am kind of thinking this like light bronze and this shade would be really pretty. Let's do the bronze. I feel like I've done a lot of kind of pink and purple looks lately, so let's start with this one right here. I'm going to take this shade, which is the shade Magellan's Light, and pop it all the way across the middle part of my lid. I'm just leaving that inner third open. We're going to top that with something else. This is a really pretty shade. It's bright enough that I could use this all the way across the lid and be just fine, but I want to try one more shade, just, you know, to try one more shade. But you totally could use this with probably any shade inside this palette. This is a really good staple. It's a bronze that's really light in tone, but it's also not too brown or too champagne. It's just a good like neutral that seems like it would go with just about anything. I'm going to take that tiny brush that I used. I don't have anything else left on here. I just kind of want to feather that over that outer edge to pull back some of that depth that was covered up by some of the shimmer, and just to blend out the edge of that shimmer. Alright, now let's take the shade Heart Dog. It's a weird name. I'm just going to take that on my pinky. It is so pretty. And pop that on the inner part of the lid. Ooh, that is super intense. If you don't like this level of brightness and intensity on your inner lid, you probably would just want to stick with this shade right here, because this is seriously bright. I love that type of a look, so I'm okay with it, but just be aware, it's very bright and reflective. Alright, so there are the eyes so far. I do want to add just a little bit to the lower lash line. Let's see. Yeah, we're just going to take a little bit of this pink right here. I don't think this pink is too pink. It's a little bit more kind of a dusty mauve. Normally I don't like putting pinks on my lower lash line, but I think this one will be okay. I'm just going to take that in about halfway. And I probably would leave it here, but I really want to try out this navy blue. So we're going to try just the tiniest bit of this out. I'm actually going to use that same smudge brush. This is the Rephr number 2 brush. You could use any just small kind of pinched, dense little eyeshadow brush for this. I'm just going to take a tiny bit on the tip, and we're going to apply a little bit of this as kind of a smudgy liner just on this upper lash line, just because we can. It's actually really pretty. Alright, so that is it for the eyes. I am going to add a little bit of, actually I'm not going to add liner, I'm just going to add a couple of coats of my Thrive Cosmetics mascara. Then I will be back with you guys to share the finished look. We'll go through the individuals and we will be done. Alright guys, I'm back. This is the finished look. Obviously this is a different day. So I was actually in Florida editing this video and I realized that my final clip was not on my card. So I am here 2 weeks later recreating this makeup look to share my final thoughts on this palette with you guys and go through a couple of swatches. The added bonus to this little mishap is that I've had some more time to play with these palettes. So I do have some further thoughts to share with you, but I do love how this look turned out. I tried my best to recreate it. I actually watched what I had edited of that video to recreate this look. I think it looks pretty similar. I do think that I maybe went a little bit darker on the outer corner than I did in that initial video, but overall, I still love this makeup look. Very happy with this palette. We'll get into a couple more details at the end of the video, but I do want to go into some individual swatches for you guys. So I ended up picking up 15 more individual shadows from Sydney Grace. These look so pretty. I just want to show you guys how they look. I have them in like a leftover pan. They were out of stock of their pans, which by the way, if you happen to be on their website during their sale, which we'll talk about, is coming up very soon, like tomorrow actually. But if you do buy individual shadows from Sydney Grace, or really from anyone else for that matter, I highly recommend the palettes that Sydney Grace sells. I do or rather have a couple of these 12 pan size palettes. I love them. The magnet is super, super strong. It holds the shadows in place really well. It's just really nice and compact. It even has a mirror in it. So I do recommend these. I think they're pretty affordable actually as well. But let's go through the individuals that I picked up right here. So here they are. I don't really have them in any sort of order. We're just going to go through them kind of at random. Maybe I'll kind of group them by color theme. Let's start with a couple of transition shades that I picked up. First off, this shade right here. This is actually the shade Beaches. I just discovered this morning as I was going through these that I already own this shade. Somehow I overlooked that and ordered another. But this is a really good transition shade, especially if you're someone that has extremely fair skin, or if you have more medium to deep skin. This would probably be a good highlighting shade on you if you like a warmer matte. Let me give it a little swatch for you guys right here. It's kind of like a orange toned ivory, I would say. Really, really soft and pretty. Another one I picked up, this one is brand new to me, is the shade Peach Crush. This one has even more orange or peach in it. It's a little bit warmer, more like an orange creamsicle, I guess you could say, but it almost has a touch of a pink to it as well. I mean, it's more orange than pink, but it's just a soft, kind of natural looking warm orange that's not too in your face orange, if you know what I mean. And then I picked a cooler tone shade. This one here is the shade Iced Mocha. Here is Iced Mocha right there. And you'll see this one has more kind of pink or almost purple in it. All of them are versions of a mid-tone or lighter tone brown. All of them are beautiful. I think I'll get a lot of use out of all three of those. By the way, if you're wondering about the hair, I just got my hair done yesterday, which is why it's lighter and also straight. I haven't straightened my hair for like 6 months. I'm having a hard time recognizing myself. So I want to move into a couple of shimmer shades. These ones are all kind of pink or purple in tone. This one is brand new. This is the shade Dear Reader. I think this is a shade that was released from Temptalia when she came out with the Temptalia eyeshadow palettes that I use today. So here's the shade Dear Reader. Beautiful purple with a strong pink shift to it. Super reflective and metallic. I think that is such a stunning shade. And then I also picked up this shade, which is more of a satiny shimmer. It's the shade Baby Cheeks. This is an interesting shade. Almost has a bit of a duochrome to it. It's a soft kind of champagne pink with a purple subtle duochrome or shift to it. And then one more is the shade Shine Bright. This one I think has a little bit more pink in it than these two. A beautiful, beautiful shade. Oh, look how pretty that is. Kind of a more mauvey, shimmery purple. Let's go through a couple of blue tones that I picked up. First off, this shade right here. This is a matte. This is the shade Cali. It's a pastel matte, kind of periwinkle shade. It kind of reminded me of like a different take on the shade that I'm loving so much from the Zendo palette, but more of a blue. Really nice and almost white based, which I love this for like an inner lid or inner corner shade. Haven't actually tried it on my eyes yet, but I think it looks really pretty. I also picked up this. This is a silver. This is the shade Polished Silver. It's a shimmer or a metallic. Looks a little deeper than some of the other silvers that I have, but also seems a little bit more blue in tone. And then last in this little section, I picked up the shade Mythical. This one's a little bit more of a purpley blue and pretty unique. I don't know that I have a lot of shades. Actually, do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of one of the shades in the Riviera palette from ABH that I love so much. Maybe a little bit deeper, a little bit more purple. Very pretty, very reflective. All right, I do have a couple of greens that I want to go through. I picked up the shade Perfect Vacation. This is just like a kind of a yellowy mint green. Sorry, my hands are getting stained. I should probably wipe them off a little better. But there's the Perfect Vacation shade right there. Actually kind of matches my shirt. Oh, how tempting that is. I also picked up the shade Mint Green. This one has a little bit more blue in it. Actually, this one might match my shirt even better. I haven't used either of these shades on my eyes yet, but I think they both look really fun. So there's the shade Mint Green. It's a Perfect Vacation. Mint green right there. I actually think Perfect Vacation has more green in it than mint green, but they're both very minty, very shimmery, very metallic and beautiful. And then I guess you could classify this one as kind of a green. This is the shade Red Chameleon. I think this is one of their most popular shades. It's one of those shades that's kind of like MAC Club-esque. A lot of companies have done versions of this type of a shade over the years. This one looks really pretty. It's basically a green, like a green reflect with a brown shift. Like when you blend it out, it turns to this kind of red brown. Very pretty, nice and deep. I think that would make a beautiful smoky eye. And the last two individuals I picked up are this one right here. This is Gold Earth, kind of a deep khaki or army green. Looks really pretty, like a golden brown, bronzy, deep green. Horrible description, very pretty shade. I also picked up one more deep matte. This is the shade Eastern Rise. Looks a little bit brown, a little bit purple. I'm always interested in shades like this. They have quite a few that are similar to this one, but I wanted to have all of them. So here is the shade Eastern Rise. This has quite a bit of purple in it, which I really, really love. And it's just a really nice, creamy matte formula that I think is super, super nice. Can't wait to use that one as well. Actually, I have used that one and I did really love it. So those are the individuals that I picked up. I will link for you guys again the video that I did last year of the singles that I swatched. In case you're interested in her singles or wondering which ones to pick up, you can kind of take a look at those. I will honestly say I've spent a lot of hours looking at swatches at different times that I've placed orders with Sydney Grace, and I really think you can't go wrong. There's a lot of shades that will be kind of similar to each other, but I've never found a shade from her that I didn't think was a really nice formula, a really nice color. So don't overthink it. I think anything that you pick just based off color and finish, you'll be happy with. As for an update on the Sydney Grace Christmas in July sale, fortunately that sale has not gone on yet. It actually starts tomorrow, July 26th. It runs through the following Monday, which I think is August 2nd. I recommend going on her website throughout the week and seeing what the different sale options are. Her sale's kind of unique. She does a different type of sale each day. Like one day she'll do a sale on her individual shadows, one day she'll do a sale on palettes, one day she'll do a mystery bag. So just keep an eye on the Sydney Grace website this week if you're interested in picking up things from Sydney Grace and saving some money at the same time. As for my final thoughts on these two palettes right here, I have had a little more time with these. I've officially had these now for about a month. I actually filmed the intro or beginning of this video about 2 weeks ago, so I've been playing with them a little bit more even since filming this video. Very happy with them both. I will say, as much as I love most all of the shades inside here, I mean, there are a few shades in each of these palettes, like these two blues. It's going to take me some serious stepping out of my comfort zone to use shades like that, even though I think they're beautiful. There's a small part of me that wishes maybe both of these palettes had one or two more neutrals inside them, but that is just my opinion. I very much favor neutrals. I like color, but I tend to favor neutrals, so that's something I think about a lot of more colorful palettes, but I do think they're beautifully done palettes, and when it comes to color, I think the colors are really nice. When I'm working with a color, I usually prefer something more soft and pastel or jewel tone rather than something that's very vibrant, and I feel like you get a lot of that inside here. A lot of jewel tones in these palettes. Fantastic quality. I'm not a huge fan of the packaging of these, but that's not going to deter me from using a Sydney Grace eyeshadow palette. It might deter me from using these if they were a different brand, but I give an exception for Sydney Grace because I do think her shadows are exceptional. So that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys find it to be helpful, especially if you're looking into picking some things up during the Sydney Grace sale. I'm a big fan. I am not sponsored by her. I know I sound like I am all the time because I rave so highly about her shadows, but I really do just love them that much. So take it or leave it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you guys watching my videos. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are doing well. I want to remind you one more time, if you are not yet subscribed, please be sure to do that before you leave. And I will see all of you guys very soon in my next video. Bye. Chrome or shift to it. Charlie.
Ethan wasn't going to turn another movie on.
Well, you don't scream at him. That's definitely not the way to get him to help you. You ask nice. You use your words and you ask nice.
I did.